Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's December 2nd. So here we're doing some gas line work. It's black iron pipe. Starting with the fireplace. That kind of dictates where the T goes for going underneath the container, so I figured I'd start there. I didn't show you how I did the fireplace, but that took me probably about an hour and a half, because I had to disassemble the fireplace, do all the fancy schmancy hole making, and put the pipe in. And here we are at the bottom, right underneath the fireplace, and we're adding in the T that goes from the left to the right side of the house. So I was kind of working alone that day, so I was just doing a couple of the runs. They're 10-foot long pipes, 3/4 inch for propane, and I'm doing these metal brackets that basically screw into the C channels underneath the container. So it's pretty straightforward. I basically lined them up, screwed a couple of those brackets in place, and I could fasten the pipes in place. So it was easy going, pretty quick. I'm using this goop stuff that's made for gas pipe and water, as well as other stuff, but hopefully we will not have any leaks. They're going to pressure test it, of course, when they install the propane tank, but it is what it is. Hopefully we're good. And I basically did about a 30-foot run right here, and then I quit. And then the next day, Pop and Jake come over, and we knock out the other big section. So Jake and Pop came out on the 3rd to help me out. That was fantastic, because doing this corner going into the garage was actually pretty tough. We had a bit of trouble with trying to align the thread, so they would start threading to like the 90-degree connectors and stuff like that. We had to loosen the connectors and stuff to get everything going. But here I'm going to show you how I'm cutting the threads. I bought a manual ratchet-based tool, and it's sped up, so it looks kind of funky. But the first few were really fantastic. The next one of the ones, we turned into the thread area into a triangle, and I guess we might have not lubed it enough or whatever we did, so we had to redo it. But anyway, it worked out. We started going a little bit slower, lubing the heck out of it, and all the threads came out pretty nice. So once we did the two threaded sections, we went back underneath and started doing the 90-degree. This took us a while, because we had to undo the brackets so we can get the threads started, and once we did that, everything kind of worked out. So it was a bit of a pain, but we managed to do it just fine. And then we work inside the garage to get the rest of it going. So here's Jake doing most of the work on that one. So the pipe went straight down to the baseboard, right behind the water tank, tankless hot water heater actually. And Jake managed to put a hole in the wall there, and we're going over the little access area we have on the right side of Jake, where his beer is. We're going over that, so we don't have any interference with anybody going up there. So here's the pipe going over the entranceway. Pretty straightforward. This one was easy. You know, straight pipes are good. And then we're going to that bulkhead that I made in the garage area. That's going to have AC and other stuff in it. So, and since I had the guys here, I kind of made use of them, because I was going to do some fascia that was 1x10, and it turned out it was quite expensive. So I ended up getting 2x10, and Pop and Jake helped me put that up. It's kind of heavy, so Pop did nailing while Jake and I held it. We used the zip sheathing as a stop for making things level, and then Pop just ran around and shot a couple nails in there, and then Jake finished it off the nailing after that. But anyway, it was pretty quick. We did this in like 15-20 minutes, and then we were done for the day, and each had a cold beer, and we're good to go. So the next day I came back and started doing the rest of the piping over the kitchen area. So the extension that went up by the tankless hot water heater is going to the kitchen to feed the stove. So this is the section I'm doing. The AC lines are probably going to run underneath that pipe. But anyway, I put a little cross section there. You see me kind of screwing it in. I love working with 10-foot sections, because they make it pretty quick. Then I went straight down and kind of tried to match the right on top of the attic, or the roof of the containers. So the little elbow you see down there, the extension will go straight onto the top of the containers and run right to the stove area. And that turned out to be pretty straightforward. Actually, I used less material than I thought it would. So here we are. We're doing the holes for where the stove connection will be. you see my second hole. So the first hole, I ended up hitting a rafter and a piece of wood, so I had to redo that. And moved over about 6 inches. Just made it straightforward, easy, and ended up hitting it perfectly dead on. And then you'll see me later on in the attic connecting that up just straight across, kind of like a 45-degree angle, making it all work. So all the connections are made with the this special it's for gas and water piping, metal piping as well as plastic piping. But so all the propane is very low pressure. It's actually half a psi or around there. Hopefully I'm doing a very good job and we won't have any leaks. But here I'm in the tight confines of the attic above the kitchen, right where the stove is. I'm putting the last little pieces on. I'm using, I bought some a triple set of those wrenches, so they work fantastic. And here you'll see me doing, just tying putting some brackets down on the pipe just to make sure it doesn't work. And here's a connection to the stove pipe. Everything was black iron. I don't know if I mentioned earlier the CSST that I was going to think of using. It was kind of more of a pain, and the fact that you had to be certified, etc. But this stuff turned out to be not too difficult. You just have to pay attention to it, make sure you seal all the joints, and make the connectors solid. I wanted a nice clean setup to connect to the stove and the tankless hot water heater, so I used these Sioux boxes, they call them. They're all 3/4 inch, and here I'm doing the one in the garage. This one kind of was on the very close to the back side of the wall, so I had to do these little 45s. It worked out perfectly well. Spacing wise, of course there's going to be wall board up there, but spooge a lot of that stuff on there, make the connectors nice and tight. And again, they're not supposed to be over tight, so they're just tight. They say don't get crazy on them, but the box kind of worked out. I put a little spacer there. You'll see me screw in a couple of supports, and then the box goes in and we're good to go. The boxes were kind of fun to play with because you have to screw things as the box is movable, so it's kind of weird, but it worked out. And this will be a nice kind of connection instead of just sticking out from the wall like a lot of places do. Wasn't into that. Since the gas line connection was right where it was, that was a little more of a hard thing, hard set. I decided to redo some of the plumbing right there, and I moved the PEX line up a little bit, and that made it a little more accessible. Some of this is going to hang outside the wall. I'm going to probably put a panel on this, just to hide everything, but at the same time. So what's funny is these PEX lines are coming from a wound roll of this stuff, and they do not want to straighten out. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. But anyway, it is what it is. And now this is the connection, the 1 inch. This is 1 inch pipe PEX going from the under the house, going up into the connection here to a 3/4. So the last order of business was actually doing the last section of pipe that went to our master, one of the closets, or the closet where the tankless is. So one pipe, about a 9-foot section, connect that up, no problem, put it in place, and then you'll see me having fun doing the 90-degree to the actual tankless. I made it kind of tight. It actually, everything worked out. It was just a little rougher than I had hoped. Here's me doing the section right towards the tankless. You see the blue and red line. That's where the water is, right? And then the pipes go through the hole right beside that. And there's the 3/4 inch supply line for the water. And I'm just adding in the pipes and making it all work. I'm not too fond of the way the camera does its contrast here. The light was not perfect, so it is what it is. Did the best I can. You get the idea of what I'm doing, but you don't see the details because of the way the light hits the shot. In any case, it worked out pretty good. I just used a little 4-inch extension, a T, and the bottom of the T is going to go to the supply line for the actual propane tank. So out jutting 90 degrees out from the building right there will be the propane tank, and we'll show you that, of course, later. So sorry for the dead space here. I'm trying to, there's you, I put the bracket in place. And now the final, ta-da! This is the next day. I actually had to go and get a couple of fittings because I ran out. Typically I would have made the pipe long enough so I can just go into the Seuss box for the connection, but it was what it was. I just went and bought a 4-inch extension, put the connectors on there, and put the box on, and we're good to go. So this actually completed the whole gas pipe installation. Bubba Gas is coming out later. They want a couple of regulators coming out from these connectors, so I'll see what they say about my boxes. I want them in the wall just to make them nice. We'll see what they do with the regulators, and of course there'll be a main regulator from the propane tank as well. Anyway, appreciate you watching. We'll have some more later. Ciao.